Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Hannah Burr, as always. Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening, and how are you?
Doing good. We've got something to talk about finally on, well, we do talk about a lot of things, but we got something finally released from Lucasfilm and Star Wars. That is the Bad Batch Season 3 trailer, which we will talk a lot about on this episode, specifically about a particular... Are you about to sneeze or something? Oh, sorry.
No,
Okay.
We're good. It was a fake one. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Hannah's
sorry.
recovering from a little bit under the weather, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the trailer to talk about. There's an appearance in that trailer that we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our big thing, really. The character that we're talking about will be the big thing, but we'll talk about the trailer itself. We did a trailer breakdown for Patreon, for our patrons, which we again thank very much for the support. If you're a patron, you can go there and watch that. We'll do a little bit more of that today, a little bit obviously when we talk about that trailer, but a couple of side news stories that kind of came out as well this week. Or for one, I mentioned on our last episode, I think it was, right, that I went back to Disney World this past weekend.
You did.
I did. First time in January that I went. I'm telling you, it was actually pretty cold. I'd never worn. So I'm pretty fortunate with my wife being a Disney planner that we can go pretty often. And this is the first time in a dozen trips that I wore jeans to the parks.
Wow.
Usually I always wear shorts, right? I mean, I'm sure you always wear shorts, right, to the parks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. You have to.
Shorts and a t-shirt, and you most of the time you're too hot for that. No, but this time it was, I was wearing a hoodie. I was wearing a long sleeve and a hoodie and jeans and sometimes a sock hat. That's how cold it was. So,
well, probably Floridians were wearing their parkas.
Yeah, right. So, great trip. It was short. Mainly went down for my daughter's gymnastics, but we stayed for 3 days at the parks, and I didn't get to, explore. We did see Mando again.
That's
Mando
amazing.
and Grogu. Yeah, we saw Mando and Grogu. Have you seen them yet?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. And, we rode Rise of the Resistance, rode Millennium Falcon again, went in Doc Ondor's. Doc Ondor's got a lot of good stuff in there. It's cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They've got an entire outfit, like Ahsoka outfit, that my daughter really wanted.
What?
So, yeah. The whole robe and all that stuff. So. But she did get her blade. We got her blades for her sabers that she got for Christmas. So she was happy about that. Yeah. So anyway, good trip there. Not anything new to report there about that, but it's still Galaxy's Edge, still pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. So real quick on the news, there is a new comic coming out. They talked about coming in April 2024. They did Darth Vader, black, white, and red, and now they're doing a Darth Maul, black, white, and red.
That is pretty cool.
Yes. So this book, which is going to be written by Benjamin Percy, comes out April 25th, and it finds Darth Maul dispatched by Palpatine to investigate a prison ship that goes offline. The vessel, however, is transporting a group known as the Final Occultations, and horrors await. So
horrors for Maul?
Horrors away. I know, right? Yeah.
Is it
Anyway,
Qui-Gon's ghost?
well, this happens. I believe this happens before episode 1, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so this is like Palpatine's like secret missions that
Oh
he
wow.
sends Darth Maul on. So yeah, 25. This is apparently because this is the 25th anniversary this year of episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
So episode 1 came May of 1999.
Yep.
So it is the 25th anniversary. So a little coming out, so that's coming out, and that brings me, we talked about doing some commentaries coming up, right, Hannah?
Yes.
We're going to be doing one every month, and we're going to start with episode 1 because chronologically that's the first movie.
Yes.
And it is I actually did forget it's the 25th anniversary, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But anyway, right now the plan is we are going to record that commentary on Tuesday, January 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So coming up here in a little bit. So just announcing it right here, and I'll put it out on social. But that will be the 30th. We will actually send the link that we're doing on Patreon. Now I know some patrons live in the UK or on the other side of the country, or I'm sorry, the other side of the world. But we are going to be doing this in the evening. So it's going to be like, I think we said 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock on Eastern time.
Yep. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's probably going to knock some people out because they'll be fast asleep.
Sorry.
Yeah. But if you're in the States and you want to hang out with us on Patreon, I know some of you are on the States. So, get on there and join us.
Or if you want to wake up really early, or if you're, Japan or China or that area, you might be able to join us in the morning.
Yeah, because by that point, it's like early morning or whatever, late morning. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and if you can't join, no big deal. We're just kind of doing this for patrons. We're obviously going to put it on YouTube eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it on probably the next day or two once I get it edited and all that stuff. But that's the plan right now. I'm going to push this out with this episode 1 trailer that I created.
Aww.
So yeah, it's got a little our own twist to it. And I've got 1 and 2 done. I actually did those a while ago. So I got to pick back up and do episode 3 and the rest of the movies as we go. But that's kind of how we're going to do this thing. So yeah, awesome. I'm excited because there's a lot to dive into these movies. In fact, I haven't actually watched the movies in a long time.
Same.
I say long time. Yeah, I mean, long time for me is just like probably a few months ago. But
for me, some of these movies, it's been years.
Yeah, so there's a lot to talk about now that we have all this knowledge over these past few years, especially with the sequel trilogy now complete. How does that impact, these other movies? So yeah, So we'll get into that. Gonna be fun. So join us on January 30th, and obviously if you can't, you can. I'm looking. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna put it on Patreon. That for anybody that's a patron, I think that doesn't matter what level you are, you can join us. So, all right, cool. That's that, and that's kind of the news. Or I guess the big news is the Bad Batch trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we did a pretty big breakdown the other night. Was that just last night? I think it was last night. Right? Yeah, it was last night. Okay. And put it on Patreon. And now let's just, kind of recap it for everybody else here. Hannah, how excited are you based on what you saw?
Based on what I saw, I'm now excited for Bad Batch season 3.
Oh, okay.
There's so much more, and it feels like it's a lot more connected. I also am a little relieved to see fewer episodes than anticipated. Still a lot, so it'll be interesting to see what stories are there. But the snippets that we got, the new characters that we got, the returning familiar faces that we got, the surprising familiar faces we got, just helps build up that anticipation. Um, I now have higher hopes for it, so I hope it's a good conclusion to their story. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a really overall. I think it was a really good paced trailer. Like there was, it definitely felt like there was going to be a lot of stuff on the line. It definitely felt that there was going to be some high action, some high intense decisions that need to be made. It just felt like there was like this big countdown going on. And it really did make it feel like truly that this is going to be the last season.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, there's probably some arguments to be made on whether or not announcing this is a final season is good or bad for a show. You know, because there are a lot of shows that you don't know it's the final season as you're watching it. Because sometimes they don't, like the creators don't know either.
But the thing is with this, you know it's going to come to an end at some point, one way or another.
You do.
So I feel like that I think that because this is a unique situation where you know it has to come to an end at some point. It's not like you're watching it and you're like, wait, why is it over now? It's going to be over. So I think that adds to the excitement because it's like, oh, this is the final bit. Where do they end off?
Totally. Yeah. No, I think that there's, but what I'm getting at is I think there's different levels of interest or different levels of commitment when you know or don't know whether or not this is the final season.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, there's other shows out there where after the season's over, you're kind of left wondering if it's going to come back or not because they got to wait for the audience ratings and whether or not they would have put the money in for the next season or something like that, you know? So, that sometimes that sucks because it didn't close well if they can't end up canceling the show, right? It didn't really end correctly.
Like Firefly.
What's that?
Like Firefly.
Even though I didn't watch Firefly, but yes, you are correct. I hear a lot about that. So, I do like it when I personally, I think I like when they know this is going to be the end and we're going to tell everybody this is going to be the end. So there's no questions after, like you said, like at the end, this is how it wraps. Now, and also the flip side of that, you can kind of say, sometimes you know the end and they still kind of leave it open at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's true.
There's times when a season will end and you know it's not coming back, but you're like, wait a minute. There's more to that character or there's more to that story. And honestly, I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility for this because with the characters that are in here and unless Omega dies, I mean, she's going to have some kind of story going forward somehow, right? So I don't know if this is truly going to be, this may not be the end for her, but this could be obviously just the end for the Bad Batch. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is.
I mean, it could even be the ending of I mean, we know this isn't her ending because we see her in Rebels, but it could be like the ending that of Ahsoka at the end of the Clone Wars season finale or series
Right.
finale. You know,
That's exactly
yeah,
right.
it's like, oh, what is she up to now? What is she going to do? But there's still closure. So it
Well,
could
you know,
just be that.
you're right. You're right. But because I think the Clone Wars was, well, in season 7 came back, right? Because Filoni couldn't end it the way he wanted to, right?
Right.
And yes, the story of the Clone Wars was over because the Clone Wars was over. But like you said, yes, Ahsoka and Rex had a lot more story to tell. And obviously we're seeing that now with Rex being in the Bad Batch and of course Ahsoka now in the New Republic era.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think do you think that we will actually get more Bad Batch stories beyond this show?
I had no idea. Um, I think it's just going to depend on how it ends. Who knows? They might all die in a fiery explosion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility, so I don't think I can answer that
How
question.
do you what's your sense of, because Ahsoka is arguably one of the most popular characters in Star Wars right now.
Yes.
I don't know how I don't know how popular the Bad Batch are.
I don't think they're that popular. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they all decided to just go their separate ways and be, just go under the radar, or whatever it is, whatever they choose to be. That wouldn't surprise me, and I still feel like there's closure within that. Um, I think it'd be interesting if we find out that Omega is actually somebody else we know in the Star Wars universe, just under a different name.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
So that could be
Yeah.
it too. It could just be that they find the rebellion happening at the time and they all join it, and that's that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it does leave the possibility open for them to appear in future projects. But at the same time, I feel like we've beaten this time zone into death. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've beaten it into the ground. I would love to see other time periods with regards to the Star Wars universe and explore those, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, it
I agree
does.
with you in the sense of that because Ahsoka is such a memorable character, such a powerful character, it makes sense to continue her story. I don't feel like people feel the same way about the Bad Batch and Omega. Therefore, I don't think it's necessary to continue said stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right. I think the Bad Batch. I mean, if I were to guess right now, I would say that this kind of ends with them walking away from fighting, and trying
Mm.
to be just simple. I think, we kind of got a glimpse of that in the very first season when I think it was Cut, right? That they ran into Cut, who had a family and settled down, and they all kind of aspired to get there, you know?
And what it wasn't didn't they almost do that on Pabu, was it? Was that the name of the
Yeah.
island?
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
So it could just end with them going back to Pabu and living out the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it could be. I have a feeling I do have a feeling we might lose another one. Um,
Oh,
but
who do
I
you
do
think?
think I do think Omega. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that something might happen to Echo. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I do think though that Omega. I think Omega has. I think Omega has the potential to go on in other stories.
I think so as well. I just wonder if she's actually somebody that we know from future episodes, like from future movies.
Yeah. like a different character, right? Or
Yeah, a
a
different
character we
character, just
know.
under a different name.
Yeah, that would be that would be that would be something to that would I mean that would I think it would be cool. I don't think it would hurt anything. I guess it really depends on who it is, really. If it is ends
Yeah.
up being somebody,
But
but
I agree with you. I see Omega staying with the rebellion.
yes, for sure. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. So we, in this trailer, we obviously got some good cameos. Palpatine had
Hmm.
some lines in here. We got glimpses of Fennec, Shan coming back, and Cad Bane coming back. Then of course we'll talk about the final cameo, but no, I just felt like I think it was a really good, exciting trailer. I think it really does get you, hooked for this thing. Cause what's surprising is that the marketing decisions that I feel like we've been getting for these shows is really tight. I mean, we're only a month away now from the premiere of this thing, which is on February 21st with 3 episodes. And, maybe they're just behind, but it's like, man, I would have thought you would have put something like that out maybe a couple months ago. And
Right?
you know what I mean?
I, I, I have no idea. I mean, your prediction was right, though. It did start with Bad Batch.
Yes. Yeah. I think
But
that's,
I do find it weird why there isn't a lot of marketing out there for these upcoming shows. Like, is there something going to happen during Bad Batch that is in something like that's in something else that we're not aware of? And that's why
I'll
they
get to
can't
that
do it?
actually. I'll get to that actually.
Oh.
Well, and I don't know about that. And I don't know because I feel like Ahsoka was kind of the same way. I think they put out that trailer, they had
That's
a teaser trailer out there, but I think the official one came out about a month before it aired. I felt like all of them, Andor, Obi-Wan, I felt like the marketing was really small, really short.
maybe that's just what they do for streaming services now.
Maybe, yeah.
It's weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, like again, we haven't seen anything on Acolyte. We haven't seen anything on Skeleton Crew.
Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi, and I know usually they don't market something else that's coming out while something else is either about to come out or playing. So, probably won't get anything for anything else until Bad Batch kind of gets to the end or does end. So that's kind of unfortunate, but and there's no celebration coming up. There is a D23, I think, towards the end of this, I think in August, but Star Wars Celebration not until next year. So anyway, that's, trailer is out there for everybody to see. I think it's obviously worth watching, and there's a lot of stuff in there that you can see. There's videos out there that kind of pinpoint all the Easter eggs that's in it.
Yep.
So there's definitely a lot to figure out. I mean, this thing has been so centered around Omega and the Bad Batch that I feel like the one person that kind of got pushed to the side a little bit was Crosshair and his whole situation.
But I feel like this will be a chance for Crosshair to shine, especially because the more I think about it, the more I wonder if that figure in that assassin clone armor with that little visor. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I think it's Crosshair.
Yeah. I think it's clear. I think it's.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. So I don't know if that means he got brainwashed again or if he's just kind of setting it up so he can get out of there. I don't know.
Who knows?
But it's really interesting to I feel like we only got that one little shot of him, being captured, and he looks defeated in that.
He does.
So, yeah. So anyway, the trailer's out there. We got less than a month until that comes out. Of course, we'll talk about each episode as it comes out. And there's going to be 15 episodes. So since the premiere is 3, that means it's only going to be 12 weeks of episodes. So go check those out. Now, before we get into the big reveal, just a quick summary of some comics and stuff that's coming out and publishing. Let's see. March 12th, you got Defy the Storm. That's what we've been talking about with High Republic. It's, we're in the middle of phase 3 for that. The Living Force, April 9th. Temptation of the Force, June 11th. The Glass Abyss, August 6th. Tears of the Nameless, September 3rd. Comics-wise, this past week, Thrawn Alliances, which is the second novel of the Thrawn trilogy that Timothy Zahn wrote, is being adapted to comic form. So that's Thrawn Alliance number 1 is out there. Dr. Aphra number 40 next week. And then starting in February on the 7th, Star Wars 42, Obi-Wan number 5, and Mace Windu number 1. Mace Windu's got his comic coming out February 7th. And then Darth Vader 43 on February 14th, Star Wars 43 on February 21st, and then Thrawn Alliance number 2 at the end of February. So there is more comics, I think, coming out, but that is all that is on the list right now. Bounty Hunters, we talked a little bit about Bounty Hunters, ended last month, so that comic is no longer going. So this actually may be the only ones that are out as of right now. So get out there and read those. We did mention the Darth Maul one, but that comes out in April.
Yes.
Okay, so the big discussion out there right now, I feel like this got more attention than actually the trailer did.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's safe to say, right? Yeah.
I think it's safe to say.
So in the end of this trailer, you start hearing somebody speaking, and it is a character that everybody is familiar with. If anybody doesn't know who this character is, you're definitely not really paying attention. And that would be Asajj Ventress. Now, it wasn't the fact that she was in the trailer. It was the fact that most of us fans that are involved in reading the novels know about a book called Dark Disciple, which right now has been shooting up the Amazon list.
After the release of the trailer, it's gone.
Exactly right. So this is not a spoiler, because obviously if you're paying attention, you're reading what everybody's talking about, right? Is that in Dark Disciple, Asajj Ventress is apparently killed by Count Dooku. Now we got to go back and mention that Dark Disciple is based on unaired episodes of the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole book was a story arc where Asajj Ventress and teams up with Quinlan Vos, and they go after Count Dooku. And I've even seen, animatic parts of these episodes at Star Wars Celebration. And I'm telling you, I wish if there is one batch of episodes that I want from Clone Wars, it is definitely these episodes.
Definitely.
So, Hannah, your just first initial reaction and thoughts of hearing and seeing Asajj Ventress in this?
There was a huge audible gasp because I always watch it with captions. Mm-hmm. And I heard Asajj and I read Asajj. And I flipped out. I think I kept going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like I just kept on, and then I was like, how? Like it just kept on saying the word how. That was my reaction because she looks like, first off, she looks exactly like the way she appears in Dark Disciple, and the other way we know that is she's on the cover of Dark Disciple.
Mm-hmm.
But like my mind is absolutely blown as to why she is in the trailer. So my brain kind of short circuited, and I'm pretty sure that the creators of the trailer knew that everybody's brain would short circuit at that point. That's why they kept it at the end. That's my initial reaction, and I'm just kind of. I've come to two conclusions, I feel, as to why she's in the trailer. But what was your initial reaction?
Well, I'm pumped as I'm watching this thing, and I'm excited about the Bad Batch coming back, and watching the show.
And you watched it in line at Disney, right?
I did. I was in line at Disney when this thing came across social and said, new trailer out. And so I didn't, because as I was in line, I couldn't hear it. So I just watched the captions and kind of heard a little bit low volume. So when I saw the name pop up, I mean, it clearly says Asajj Ventress. And I was like, my first reaction, to be honest, it kind of took me out of the trailer because I'm like, I know her history. And, I'm like, wait a minute. How is she in this trailer? And then I thought, well, did I miss how she died? Maybe it was kind of open, but it wasn't. I mean, they took her, spoilers a little bit, but they took her body back to Dathomir and buried her.
With her saber.
Correct. So it wasn't like Tech where she just falls into like a clouded abyss.
Or she passed out from poison or something like that. No,
correct.
She was stabbed.
Yes, and force lightning. I think she was.
I can't remember specifically which one, but I feel like it was both.
It was clearly one of those things where they killed her.
Yes.
Like it wasn't unmistaken that she just, I don't know. So I have no idea how they're going to do this. And we had talked about, though, like whether or not, is this possibly a flashback?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
it was a fatal blast of force lightning.
Yes, that's what I can remember.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't like she got knocked out because there were a lot of time has passed before they took her body to Dathomir.
And she died.
Buried her.
She died in Voss's arms.
Yes. Correct. So, and they buried her yellow lightsaber right next to her. So, I mean, it makes sense that she has the saber, but, and the yellow one at that. But I don't know how I don't know, because the Night Sisters are pretty much gone at this point. Mother Taliesin is dead.
Yeah.
So it's very strange. It's very strange how this is gonna go down.
I'm just checking to see timeline wise if she's okay.
Yeah, at this point, Dathomir has been wiped out pretty much.
Yep.
From Grievous and the battle droids that came through there.
Yep. Hey.
Most of her sisters have dead. Obviously, we know of one sister, Marin, who survives and ends up in the games. But so I just want to kind of talk about this significance of this. For one, I'm just gonna, I believe I've said it on the show a few times. Because of Dark Disciple, Asajj Ventress is one of my favorite characters. Easily in my top 5, probably.
Completely agree.
Now, last week, what's funny is that last week on our episode, the thumbnail I made for that episode is Asajj Ventress, because we did our top 5 Star Wars stories since the Disney takeover, and Dark Disciple was the only one in both our lists. So we both have high regard for that book and for this character. So, but why Hannah, to you, is she? Why do you like or love Asajj so much?
I love a great redemption story. I think in the Clone Wars we just get this one side of her, but then in not only in Dark Disciple but also in the audio drama about Dooku, we get more about her, and has she been through the ringer? She's been through so much, and it's actually kind of this interesting circle. I don't know if you call it irony, but the one thing that fueled her anger when she was a Sith apprentice to Dooku was the Force lightning. Because, like, he would torture her to help, influence the pain with her and help her channel her anger from that pain. And yet what kills her is Dooku's lightning. And
yes.
So that's kind of a weird circle, but it's like your heart just breaks for her. It just absolutely breaks for her. And I think seeing her also get softened throughout Dark Disciple is so interesting. I think another reason why I like the book in general about Dark Disciple is the Jedi really start doing things that they shouldn't do, in my opinion. And they start being hypocrites. But I think the thing is, Asajj, even though she's still willing to help out, begrudgingly, she points that out. And we just see how her leaving the Sith entirely, how it's made her very wise. Which is kind of weird when you know her character and you see her in the Clone Wars. You're like, that impulsive woman is wise.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's weird. But I don't know. I just think she's such an interesting dynamic character. And you just feel sorry for her. And then you see her redemption and you just can't help but cheer for her. What about you?
Yeah, I think, I liked her, watching Clone Wars. I think, I can't remember at what point, what might have been Dark Disciple, that we learned that she was a Padawan.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was a Padawan and didn't make it, basically didn't make the cut and got released, and then got obviously recruited by Dooku through Mother Talzin to have an assassin. And, ultimately his goal was to, eventually kill Palpatine and then have him and Asajj take over as Sith Lords. Mm-hmm. So, when we first see her and we first follow that storyline, she's kind of, she's in a sense kind of a throwaway character, because we know she doesn't end up in episode 3. So she has to either die or she goes away somehow.
Yeah.
And obviously the plan was that she was going to die in these story arcs, unaired episodes. But for me, when that didn't happen and then the book comes out, and of course I started listening to the book right away, that book just adds so much depth to her. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those characters where, we rarely, you can probably count, on both hands, the amount of characters in Star Wars that we have kind of their full story, like from birth
Yeah,
to death. There's not a lot of them.
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? And to me, there's a lot there. We know a lot about Ventress, even though a lot of Star Wars fans may not, because they just don't dive into the books and they don't watch all the shows. But it's there. Like, her whole story is there. That's why with Dark Disciple, when I listened to it and, this tragedy happened with her at the end, I was actually okay with it because, again, that we have her full story in a sense.
Yeah.
But now we have an opportunity possibly to see that she has, survived that, and now she's during this Galactic Empire era.
Or there's a reason why she's in a flashback.
Or it's a flashback. I mean, it could be as simple as that, to be honest. It could be one episode flashback where the batch comes across Ventress and that's it. That's all we got. Because they did release a statement that said that they're honoring what happened in Dark Disciple. Like, that's part of canon. So, you can obviously change it by making some explanation, but that one is going to be a little hard to swallow. Just because, like we said, if she fell off a cliff, totally, I get it.
Even if she was cut in half, we get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's true. Yeah. But the body in half falls down a ditch, or a
Exactly.
shaft.
Yeah.
Not just laying there on the ground.
Just saying.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. So that's the thing. Anything's possible, I guess, right? So she definitely could come back.
Anything's possible with the Force.
Yes, anything's possible.
It could be they pulled a Padme, where they or they pulled the twins, where they made it look like the twins died with Padme, but in reality they were alive. They could have just said, "Oh yeah, we buried her," or they buried a fake body or whatever, and she's really alive.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Because we have established in the sequels that it is possible to give life through the Force.
Ooh, yeah, that is definitely true.
And can we just talk about how that would have solved Anakin's problems from the very beginning? If he just stayed with the Force, he would have learned how to life transfer what Padme needed to survive, and everything would have been handy dandy and fine.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
But what he saw was her dying because of his choices. And
yeah, I know, and that's what ended up happening.
If he didn't choose that she wouldn't have died. Yeah. So anyway,
I'm just saying.
But I think you're right. I think the life force thing, but obviously probably not every Jedi could have that ability. But it's interesting because Quinlan Vos, his name, we know he survives.
Yes.
Order 66. Because he's helping Hidden Jedi find a new identity in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, he is.
But that's a major aspect of, because him and Asajj have a very deep relationship in this book, which made that book even better. I mean, I'm telling you, the book is incredible.
I wonder if Voss did that with Asajj so he could pretend to have, basically pull an Anakin, have a secret affair, a secret family, and not tell anyone. That's
not out of the realm of possibility. I think that's right. I think that's possible.
I mean, I would say aliens could be a reason, but we already have aliens in this universe, so
you're right.
I feel like anything is, and who knows, maybe this is a way into the what if, and all of a sudden we're in this timely-wimely situation, and that's why Star Wars What If may happen. An alternate timeline where she survives.
Oh, yeah.
I hope not, but
yeah, I don't think that. I hope not either.
But It'll be very interesting to see what they do with it.
So I guess that's the last thing is like what. I think you kind of brought it up. Like, why show her at the end? Like, what do you think that they're insinuating, if anything?
I have no idea.
Or,
I don't know what's significant. Because she made it pretty clear she wanted nothing to do with the Empire. Like, she made it pretty clear. And if this follows canon, and if this is not a flashback, she technically joined the light side of the Force. So it makes no sense for her to go the bounty hunter route. So the only thing I can think of is she joins the rebellion, or she's a rogue rebellion person who's sent to help the Bad Batch.
You know that's a very good point you just brought up about where she was when Dark Disciple ended. And that Ventress, I don't believe is the one we saw in the trailer.
I don't think it is. I think like that's the thing, is that, is she light side now? Like, well, no, she should be. She should be light side now.
Should be.
So would she be so that means she would have to fight with the Bad Batch or with the rebellion. She wants nothing to do with Palpatine and with the Empire. She made that very clear in Dark Disciple.
Yeah.
So that's making me think more, and watching how she fought in the trailer. This is a flashback.
Yeah, so I think I'm going with you. I think it's flashback actually.
I don't a part of me wishes it's not, but the other part of me has a little bit of relief that we're not going to get some weird reason as to why she's still alive. Like, frankly, the weird reason Palpatine was still alive in the sequels. But I think I think this is another classic. Marok is Marok. I think it's another classic. Yeah. It's just a flashback. But now the question is, whose flashback is it?
Well, I think it could be. I think it could be the Bad Batch, or I don't know, retelling or remembering a mission that they went on, or that something they went on.
But if they went on a mission, it wouldn't have been after her. She would have still been with them, because when we see her like that, she's working with the Jedi. Well,
in the book, at that point she is. But before then, she's not.
Oh, that's a good point.
So this would be a flashback definitely before the book.
But then the question is, why have a flashback with her? What would trigger that? Are we gonna get Boss in the Bad Batch?
We could, if that's during the Clone Wars. Like we could. Here's the thing: it could be. Okay, well, here's my reasoning. My reasoning why they showed her in this is I'm pretty confident that she is going to be in Tales of the Jedi.
I knew you were going to go there, and I'm fairly certain you're correct. I'm fairly certain.
I think we're going to possibly get these episodes.
I think we will. Now the question is, if this is the pattern, like, and this is where my brain goes after that, is if she's in Tales of the Jedi, then is a parallel story in Tales of the Jedi going to hint towards Acolyte, or is it going to hint towards Skeleton Crew? Acolyte.
Yeah, it's possible Acolyte. Yeah.
Or is it going to hint towards Skeleton Crew?
Well, I guess we got to think. I mean, the other one, we got more Ahsoka, right? And obviously we got Ahsoka as a series. The other thing was about Dooku, though. The other half was about Dooku.
Right.
Which I don't know really if that's gone anywhere, right?
Right.
Besides this, I mean, if Ventress has her, if she's in Tales of the Jedi, more than likely, if it's going to probably be these unaired episodes, Dooku's going to be in it.
Well, he has to be.
So, but I'm just there. I'm about 99% sure I would put all my money on that Ventress, those episodes, though we're not going to get every episode because apparently there was going to be 8 episodes of the book. The book was made from 8 episodes. I think we get a condensed version, just like we are getting from Tales of the Jedi.
Right.
And it's, maybe 3 or 4 episodes of her that tells a story about her and Voss.
Yeah.
Quinlan. So I think that's what they're doing, but at least that's what I would do.
Yeah, but the more and more I think about it, the more I think it's going to be a flashback.
Yeah. I think I'm there too right now.
I'm just curious as to whose flashback it is.
Yeah.
And why would they have a flashback of her specifically?
I think if it's anything, it might be just a flashback of whatever mission that the batch was going on, and they just happened to come across a Asajj Ventress.
Okay.
So like you said, Marok is Marok. It's just that she happens to be in it. There's no significance to her being, because more than likely she is only going to be in one episode.
Yeah, and that's probably just to reinvigorate the desire for her. Their hope was probably, you know what, very,
to
very
sell more
smart.
Dark Disciple books.
And then people would read that, and then people would have context and be excited for Tales of the Jedi. Super smart marketing scheme, Disney. Bravo.
That's exactly right.
Bravo. That is brilliant.
I think we just solved the reasons why they brought Asajj into this trailer.
Yep.
I'm glad we can do that for everybody.
And they would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for us meddling kids.
That's right. Okay, so anyway, that's either way. I think the point is that Asajj is a tremendous character. She's on our top lists, and I hope people can, dig more into her story and kind of come to appreciate her a lot more, because there's a lot more to her than just being a Sith assassin.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more to her, and it's pretty remarkable where she's come from and how much she's changed over the years, and she's great.
She's amazing.
Okay, so let's see some comments from last week. Of course, Thrawn Addict says we had our top 5 lists last week, and he says top 5 is really hard to name. I would be leaving out some great stuff, especially when it comes to including novels and games, but I'll give it a go. He's got in his top 5. He's got Rogue One.
Okay.
He's got Rebels. He's got season 7 of the Clone Wars, The Force Awakens, and Lost Stars, the novel.
Oh, that is another good choice.
Yes.
That's a good choice.
So he does say I could take out Force Awakens from my list, but I just remember how hyped I was around that time. If I had to replace it, I would put the Thrawn trilogy novels or High Republic novel personally.
Another great choice.
Yeah. There's just so much. Can we do top 20? That would be easier.
Right? That would have been easier. But then this would have been.
I would be intrigued to see. Yeah, he said, I would be intrigued to see a what if series, but I would rather them put their efforts into making a new animated series that could replace Bad Batch when it ends. Thanks again to you both, and enjoy your trip, David. May the force be with you. Thank you, sir. I did enjoy my trip. That was fun.
And I agree. Instead of a what if series, I would rather have another animated series.
I totally agree. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it.
That's it.
That's it on this episode. Like I said earlier, we are going to be doing our episode 1 commentary on January 30th here in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put the link on Patreon, and then we'll post it on YouTube shortly after, probably the next day or two, once I get that done. But yeah, we're going to be talking about episode 1 and, you know, not just about episode 1, but kind of the impact that it's having now on all these stories that are out there. You know, how do we view this movie now that we've had all this knowledge of the sequels and these different eras? And I mean, we have more background with Obi-Wan and with Qui-Gon and Dooku and Ventress, and it's like, you know, there's so much more that gets impacted in this movie. Maul, obviously, what he becomes.
Yeah.
Padme, and it's like, you know, there's just a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to kind of rewatch these movies with these different perspectives. So, and to get yours, because I haven't actually watched this movie with you, so
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
It definitely will be.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Hannah, as always.
Thank you, Dave, as always.
Take care, everybody. Get ready for our episode 1 commentary. Go watch it yourself. It is the 25th anniversary this year of episode 1. Can't believe that. I know you were really young when that came out, right?
Well, if it's a 25th anniversary, that means, yep, because my birthday was this month, that means I was 6.
6 years old. Wow. All right.
6.
Yes.
What?
All right.
No,
so
that can't
good.
be true. No, that's true. 6.
Well, that means you were born. Yeah, you were born in what, 93?
Yep. 6.
Yep. There you go. Wow. So I was in college. I was a junior in college. So, but that's great because, see, different generational, you know, perspectives on this, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to get into it.
That'll be fun.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. Get ready for The Bad Batch. I'm gonna do some rewatch episodes of that as well, because I'm gonna refresh my memory on. I haven't seen the second season, I don't think, since it came out. So got to rewatch that. Get ready for season 3. So
yes,
we'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend. Take care, and may the Force be with you.